Brought to you by Fumbisayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority.
A very warm welcome and a very good evening. Welcome to our second edition of UBC News Tonight on this 28th day of August 2022. Now, before we delve into tonight's news bulletin, let's first take a look at the top stories of the night. Stories tonight. Ruhura mourns Eli Tumwine, describe him as a down-to-earth person. Domestic violence driving children to the streets. Minimize taxation on agro materials, farmers appeal. And in sports, heathens walloped pirates in Arua. Good evening once again to our second edition of UBC News Tonight. I'm Lauryn Kazimoto and Muhammad Mugalu's sign language interpretation. Now we start off with our first headlining story this evening. Isimba hydropower dam is now operating at above 75% following fixing of defaults that had disrupted its operations. Engineers at Isimba hydropower station were this weekend briefing the Prime Minister, Robina Nabanja, who paid an impromptu working visit by the dam located in Kayunga.
Isimba Dam site engineer Bridget Lakwanye says 3 units out of 4 have been rectified and are running. The electrical engineer was briefing Premier Nabanja, who had paid an impromptu visit to Isimba Dam.
We appreciate that the Prime Minister has visited Isimba High Dam after fault. However, her visit may not solve all the challenges because Ugandans now understand a few challenges. One, that is the deemed energy which they are paying for but not transmitted and distributed. 2, there is high charges, high prices for electricity units. So however much the Prime Minister has visited, but we do encourage her to work together with the technicals and the other agencies that are in the structure of distribution of electricity, like the UCTL that is responsible for distribution of electricity. After being generated from Isimba, UTCL, as it distributes, must also work hand in hand with the UMEME that connects it to the last final user.
The engineers took the Prime Minister on a guided tour of the dam to establish the damage that was caused by the mishap that occurred recently.
We have found out that 3 units are now functional and the 4th unit is under repair by our own engineers. That's a very good point I want to make. I found a young girl, an engineer from Makerere, called Nasari. And I envied her and said, oh God, these are our own children who are doing this work. The situation is coming back to normal. According to the engineers here and the Uganda Electricity Generation Company, we are no longer importing power. We have power generated here.
Nabanja, after inspecting the dam, assured the country that everything is being done to rectify the situation and there is no need for worry, and lauded Ugandan engineers who have worked tirelessly to rectify the anomaly. Nabanja says that she will convene a meeting this week to discuss how they identified defects and challenges. Nabanja was accompanied by the Ministers of State for Education, Dr. Chrysostom Muyingo Lugolobi for Finance, and Alice Kaboyo for Wero Renzori. Later in the day, visited Kayunga Regional Referral Hospital to assess the services offered.
Now, General Eli Tumwine has been highly talked about as a patriot of all time who sacrificed for the good of the country. This was during a vigil held at his home this evening and attended by relatives, friends and the UPDF fraternity.
Daddy was
so many things. So many things. And on top of that, he was a father. Father to the fatherless and a father to us. He still had time even for us. When we were praying for him, one of the things that we were convicted about was to seek forgiveness on his behalf. So to ask God to forgive him of everything and that he did knowingly or unknowingly that was wrong, and just seek forgiveness so that he's on a clean slate. And I also wanted not to only do it with God but with everyone here. In case that he wronged you in a way, please forgive him. He forgave you. If you also wronged him, he forgave you. He forgave you, he forgave you. He talked about forgiveness so much toward the end. Kandi hanga mpira mugishashe hanga nankunda mbona ntijere tinkumanya kunkubasa kwebasa rahanga wo mwiguro kuyanahura akwebye umutima gwawe bukwenda eshanti jero ompire chance yo kuzika omuzaire wanje mbona ntijere tubentwenda kugurira ngo nyonyi twena abana biyashomese tukakora purani aza purani egumeho bantu tugurira ntijere nyonyi egume mutware
gawe yashikaku kurugomagana genseji. The last moments were bad. God knows everything. Kari, Daddy Nakureka, rest in peace. I shall forever see.
So when they had just resuscitated him and he had got back to his consciousness, I told him, Daddy, don't give up. Fight, you're a fighter, you're a fighter, fight on. Wait for Mommy, she's coming. I told him, don't go before she comes. Queen, Queen, we are with you in death, we are with you in life, we are here.
Now, those are the images at the fallen soldier's residence in Nakasero, and he will be buried in Kazo district on Tuesday. Now, in Kazo district, they are in preparations for the burial of General Eli Tumwine, and mourners gathered at his ancestral home located in Mukurusel, Kazo district. The road leading to Tumwine's home is currently being repaired in preparation for the burial, slated for Tuesday.
Preparations for the burial of General Eli Tumwine are underway at his home in Mukurusel, Kazo district, a few kilometers away from Mbarara city. Residents, with support of government and the army, are currently clearing the road leading to Tumwine's home as part of the burial arrangements. A retired Justice of Supreme Court, Ezekiel Muhanguzi, a childhood friend of General Eli Tumwine, is one of the mourners helping in burial arrangements at Tumwine's home.
He was 8 years old. I'm slightly older than him, by about 2 or 3 years. But for all the time I've known him, which is throughout my lifetime and throughout his lifetime, I have found him a very, very down-to-earth person. In spite of his high military honors, he was a down-to-earth person. He was an ardent Christian. He was a very active member in the Christian church, in the Church of Uganda, and even in other Christian churches. He has been able to serve in various non-military capacities. For example, he's been one of the active board members of Rushere Community Hospital, and so many others.
He says the foster general was a practicing Christian, corruption-free and friendly to whoever came to him.
And down here in our local community at Mukuru in Kazo district, he has been a friend of everybody. His home has been open very accessible, of course with the necessary checks, being a very high-ranking military officer. But he has entertained nearly everybody. His family, his relatives, his friends, and even ordinary citizens and residents of the area have been coming to his home for all sorts of concerns, both official and unofficial. And as you have known him in the country, he has been a very serious, a very strict disciplinarian.
The Archdeacon of Remikoma Church, Uganda, Venerable Reverend Benon Baraire, hailed General Tumwine for his generosity and support to his home church.
Mwene kanisa jini yaba ishozi likibanza cyayo iryaha rubazwe umwanya franka miliyoni maganasha sa nenzu y'umbuzi buraro hamwe ne kanisa dinaga none banyeta venarebo Reverend Baraire ninye saba diko n'umwanya.
General Eli Tumwine's cousin, who is also a councillor representing Nyakashashara sub-county, Chiruhura district, Andrew Rakishaija, says Tumwine will be greatly missed by his relatives, village mates, and the entire region due to his generosity.
Shot the first bullet in the bush war at Kabamba. We thank him. Since then, the first bullet he shot, it did a wonderful job in the whole country. We thank him for all he has tried to do in this country.
A number of residents are visibly touched by the death of General Eli Tumwine, whom they say he has always stood with them. They say he always stood out in whatever he did, including in the military, where he has been a highly respected foster general.
Now in tonight's Commander-in-Chief, we bring you NRA combatants celebrating 1 year in power, with President Yoweri Museveni officiating the ceremony. General Eli Tumwine was the NRA Army commander then.
Welcome to Commander-in-Chief Files, and in this episode of CNC Files, we bring you what the President of the Republic of Uganda, His Excellency Mr. Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said while addressing Ugandans at the first NRM anniversary at Kololo Airstrip in 1987.
When we took over power 1 year ago, the security situation in the whole country was very bad. 300,000 Ugandans had been murdered in central Uganda alone. In the western part of Uganda, people had been murdered and lots of property looted. In Lango, The Okeros had created havoc with murder, rape, and looting. In Teso, one armed officer by the name of Ojuku was using helicopters to locate cows so that ground forces could loot the cattle. In Karamoja, there was the endemic cattle raiding. Kampala and other parts of Uganda had been parceled out among warlords of different factions. We tried to reach a peace agreement with the Okeros in Nairobi. In spite of the peace agreement, the Kasala mission near Ruero, the Kasala mission nuns were raped. 100 people were murdered in Ruero town. People were murdered in Kabasanda, that is near Kibibi. Not a single punishment was meted out to the perpetrators of these crimes. By taking over power in January, we dramatically reversed this situation. A great deal of security was restored to Central, Western, Eastern, West Nile, and Northern regions. Even cattle raiding in Karamoja stopped. We do not use the Detention Act against anybody up to today. You know, the Detention Act has been the order of the day in Uganda. But I can tell you that up to today, we have not detained anybody using that act. Whoever is arrested and dealt with according to the ordinary law. In August, however, the remnants of the old armies who had fled to Sudan launched attacks against our forces in the north. A new wave of insecurity had set in the north. All attacks were repulsed with very heavy losses of lives and equipment on the part of the remnants of the criminal armies. The enemies tried to impede movement of our troops on the road, but we evolved countermeasures, and no battalion of ours has ever withdrawn from a position on account of lack of supplies. Civilian transport, however, has been affected. Also affected has been production and the security of ordinary people. Since we have been continuously destroying their groups since August, the enemies found it difficult to retain the support of those they had confused or coerced in supporting them. They had to resort to witchcraft and mysticism. They told their supporters that there was a woman by the name of Alice Lakwena who had risen from the dead just like Jesus. This lady had charms which could protect members of these groups from bullets. If the NRA fired bullets, the magic would turn back the bullets and kill those who fired them. This is the siyasa, the politicization that is being carried out by those chaps. This is all desperation and defeat by the enemies. Following this new line, they have aggravated their defeat into a disaster for their cause, if it can be called a cause. For instance, between Christmas Day and the Sunday of 18th January, our forces in Kona Clark, Pajuri area alone killed at least 697 enemies. This count is from the dead bodies abandoned on the battlefield. It does not include those dead bodies which were carried by colleagues or those who died later. It also does not include the wounded. The weapons captured in that sector alone during the same period are at least 1,136 pieces, including about 1,000 rifles, RPG launchers, anti-aircraft guns, and some mortars. These are mainly weapons that these former soldiers ran away with. We do not know how they got back these arms from the Sudanese authorities who had originally confiscated the guns from these people. If one asked me, what do you think of the situation in the north? I would answer him, excellent, in spite of the hardships.
The National Resistance Army had just captured power in 1986, and the new government was preaching peace as a way of stabilizing war-ravaged Uganda.
Well, you can see a very young and energetic President Yoweri Museveni, and also, if you did also notice, General Eli Tumwine in that footage right there. Thank you so much, Mr. Dean Chibidige, for bringing back those memories. Now, UBC News Tonight does continue. The National Forestry Authority, in partnership with Kagadi leaders and community members, have partnered to restore central forest reserves and wetlands in Greater Chibale. Now, the Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Benjamin Tumusime commends NFA and the WWF and the media community for promoting the restoration of Kangombe and Bugoma Central Forest Reserves.
Kagadi Resident District Commissioner Benjamin Tumusime demands for the restoration of wetlands and forests in the Greater Chibale. This was during celebrations marking Kagadi Chibale Community Radio 2 decades of broadcasting held in Kagadi town under the theme Witnessing the Role of Media in Promoting Environmental Conservation. The founder, Kagadi Chibale Community Radio, Mwalimu Musheshe, observed that global warming and climate change are real.
And of course now, because of environmental degradation, tied together with global warming, tied together with climate change, there are now a lot of diseases that are coming, especially viral diseases, bacterial diseases that are affecting animals and humans alike.
The NFA Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Tom Okelo, who traversed various central forest reserves of Kagombe and Bugoma Forest, recently said over 70% of forest cover in the area have been depleted.
Today the temperature here was 30 degrees centigrade, which was not heard of in those days when we had good forest cover in Bunyoro sub-region. So I want to call upon everybody, let us embrace the forest conservation, let us embrace the restoration, but let us also strike that balance of making forestry contribute to the livelihoods of the people and to the economic development of our nation.
Residents and leaders in the affected areas of Bujogoro, Kagadi, Nyamrunda, Mohoro, Chaterekera and Chirianga sub-counties thanked the community radio for sensitizing them on values of preserving environment.
Since 2000, this power has been encroaching slowly.
Recently, the Greater Chibale leaders, NFA and Environmental Police mounted an operation to rid the area of encroachers.
The new governor, Turkana County, Jeremiah Ekamais, has promised to invest in transport and communication infrastructure along the border to facilitate prompt security operation and boost cross-border transport and trade. This was during his swearing-in ceremony and his deputy, Dr. John Lopeyok, at a function held at Ekalis Center in Turkana County that attracted dignitaries from Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and residents.
Turkana County is the largest county in western part of Kenya, bordering Ethiopia, South Sudan and Uganda. Residents of these three countries along the border are pastoralists, but due to the semi-arid harsh climate, most of these move to neighboring countries for pasture and water. While giving his maiden speech, the governor for Turkana County, Ekamais Lomurukai Nepotikan, promised that his government will invest in joint projects, mainly livestock, mass vaccination and water points at the borderlines.
Shared water plants and boreholes, livestock mass vaccination, education and health facilities along the borderlands.
He says investing in transport and communication infrastructure in areas along the border will be his priority.
In transport and communication infrastructure in the borderlands to facilitate prompt security operation and boost cross-border transport and trade.
The outgoing governor, Josephat Nanok, commended the neighboring communities for the unity.
The unity we have established that has brought us to this day. And I'm glad Governor Lauryn has just restated he is going to make sure that that unity moves forward so that we can be able to stabilize our region.
The Ugandan delegation was led by G County Member of Parliament in Kotido District, Peter Abrams Loki, who said that the current unity among the Madeniko, Turkana and the G at Kobebe is a blessing to the new leaders of the region.
Turkana, the G, the Dodos, the Madeniko are in Kobebe. 2 weeks. They have just decided that enough is enough. Now that gives you the chance to deliver your promises to the people.
South Sudan delegation was led by the governor, Eastern Equatorial State, and called for unity and improvement of unity and social services along border communities.
Deliver our services, such as health, education, and veterinary services to our people along the borders, and also provide clean drinking water along our communities to the border. I was happy in your...
This was during the inaugural and swearing ceremony of Governor for Turkana County and Deputy Governor Dr. Eros Lopeyok, held at a Kalis Center in Turkana County capital, Lodwar.
Do swear that I shall do always truly and diligently.
Lomrukai is the second governor after the first governor Joseph Fat Nanok, who served for 10 years. The function was attended by delegates from Uganda, South Sudan, Ethiopia, Turkana County, and across Kenya. Sudat Kaye. Maureen Yeager, UBC News.
Youth in Karamoja sub-region want to be empowered and sensitized on their roles and responsibilities in development. They say this will reduce the monies lost in different government projects like youth livelihood programs. This was during the Mindset and Behavioral Change and Baseline Survey for Youth in Moroto and Napak districts conducted by Operation Wealth Creation personnel.
Karamoja sub-region is among the areas with highest number of people living in poverty, with many youth surviving on stone quarrying, mining, while others are participating in cattle rustling. The director of Operation Wealth Creation at the Office of the President, Damari Sylvia Owori, has met different youth in Moroto and Napak district at Boma grounds in Moroto municipality to devise ways of improving.
We are on a mission to do both to publicize the parish development model and also do a mindset change for the youth specifically. We're going to be on the ground until this is a mapping exercise, after which we shall go back and do a plan and then come back and see how we're going to implement.
At the meeting, some youth decried prolonged drought which affects agriculture, being abused in mining sites, unemployment, among others.
Through my sunshine, and when we grow vegetables, so we don't have water. That is our challenge. So if the government of Uganda can bring irrigation system to Karamoja, specifically in Moroto, another affected district. So at least irrigation system will help us. But for us who are doing agriculture.
Many young people have been engaged in mining sites as workers. They are working there and they are paid at a low. They are being paid in low prices. And secondly, when you go to mining sites, you will find that the mining people who are employing these young girls are even leasing them.
Relatedly, youth commended the government for developmental programs like parish development model, but decried lack of transparency, especially among local leaders.
We thank the government of Uganda for bringing the parish development model up to the the community level. So we thank it so much.
They call young people, they tell them now be organized in such a number. The government of Uganda is ready to support you. When the young people gather in and give their opportunities to respond to the YNP, you find that in few time, not even a year, just months, people are being chased, they need money. Many youth we have lost who have been running on mountains, dodging because they don't have anything to submit.
The Karamoja Region Operation Wealth Coordinator, Kano Amos Oyuji, explained the challenges they have faced.
The enterprises that were selected within the circle didn't match what the community wanted. And the reimbursement of money to those circles delayed a bit. For example, like the district of Moroto up to now, they haven't received that money.
Youth say there is a need of empowering and sensitizing the youth on their role in development.
PDM to come as a transparent notice to the people, to the young people. Let the young people be empowered and sensitized on their roles and responsibilities. Look at
some of the projects which they can really manage to handle to support themselves and their families, because most of them they are school dropouts and most of them they have never attended school.
Owori explains the findings during the youth meeting.
Found that there's a lot of talent, especially in music and acting. We have seen the challenges of they cannot farm. They have a lot of land, but they cannot farm on the land because they don't feel secure there.
This was during the Mindset and Behavior Change and Baseline Survey for Youth in Moroto and Napak District, conducted by Operation Wealth Creation, Sudat Kaye, and Maureen Yiga. UBC News.
Domestic violence has been singled out as a major contributor of the cumulative numbers of street children in Kampala. The director of the Initiative for Vulnerable Children, Irene Namuyombia, says COVID-19 pandemic and high inflation affecting service delivery to vulnerable children because of limited resources. Now she calls on government to extend assistance such as education, food relief to enable vulnerable street children improve their livelihoods.
A 16-year-old street child from Kavali district, Shafik Tulinabwe, says when his mother died, he became homeless because his father resorted to drinking alcohol.
Masaba.
17-year-old Enoch Nwamanya from Luwero district is among the vulnerable children on Kampala streets because of domestic violence and poverty at his parents' home. These voices represent many vulnerable children on streets who are calling on well-wishers and government to rescue them from the street life. The director of Initiative for Vulnerable Children, Irene Namuyombia, says street children are casualties of tough times, poverty, loss of traditional values and domestic violence.
Abana bafuna okusomozebwa ne batokyalingibwa naddala ba step mother abayingiddemu kati omwana okwewala adduka akutaasa obulamu n'agenda asobole okudda ku kkubo asigaze obulamu ebiseera ebisinga. Abalala abantu babbye amataka g'abakitaabwe, babbye amataka g'abamama baabwe ne basigala ttayo n'asigala nga talina waayimidde wadde bwe yeekwata n'ajja ku street.
Namuyombia says she is overwhelmed by the number of street children that come to her to be rescued from street life.
Naye kati tukyalina buyambi buli abumala kuvaayo okulabira abaana bano nnyo nga kyandibadde kyetaagisa. Nkubiriza omulanga abantu bonna bonna abatwala bakulu tuyambagaye tufeeyo okulanga tuyamba omwana w'eggwanga asobole okufuuka obuvunaanyizibwa.
All these were in Initiative for Vulnerable Children office at Musajja Lumba Village, Kampala Central, during the organization festivities of caring for poor urban children. Sudat Kaye, Robert White, UBC News.
UBC News Tonight takes a very short break, but we'll return after these messages.
Isimba ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
I remember the lockdown, when the streets were empty and our lives disrupted, when businesses closed and our livelihoods hung in the balance. Hospitals were full. We lost loved ones, jobs, and hope. Our children couldn't study anymore. We cannot let this happen again. We should not go back. Get fully vaccinated against COVID-19 and join the millions of Ugandans who are already vaccinated.
Honey, relax. There'll be no more worries about SMSs, phone calls, sijui data, because daddy has got an Airtel smart plan. There is even Airtel TV. It means no worries.
Enjoy life worry-free with Airtel Smart Plans. Shareable among 5 people. Use every day and pay.
That's a lovely ball. The most exciting league in the world is in full swing. And this weekend's biggest winner is you.
Watch this, I'm coming up.
It's GoTV's first open weekend. A weekend where all GoTV subscribers can enjoy all the Premier League action from 1 to 4 September. All 11 games, 6 of them live.
Watch this, I'm coming up.
And with in-depth analysis, recaps, and magazine shows, it's more than just a game. It's Premier League for everyone. So stay or get connected using the My GoTV app and love it.
Jesus turning and scoring.
With GoTV, terms and conditions apply.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using Turkana. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
Cooking with electricity is now affordable. Cook your beans. Avoid smoke.
Sayaka. Cooking with electricity is now so affordable with the Fumba tariff set by the Electricity Regulatory Authority. With the Fumba tariff, you can now buy up to 70 units of Yaka at a reduced price of 412 Uganda shillings per unit after consuming your first 80 units of the month. For more information, contact the Electricity Regulatory Authority on 0200 506 000.
Meet Professor Petero. He knows something every hustler in UG is gonna love.
Oh, see. You see, I was just trying to get the documents to register for Airtel Money.
You don't need the documents. You just set a full register.
What's going on here?
He sells things from the shop, and behind my back, he gets the money and gives it to his girlfriends.
But just get Airtel Money Pay so that all money comes direct to your business wallet and only you, the owner, have access to it.
Just dial *185 *10 *10# and now you are on. No waiting.
Huh?
This insanity is sweet. Give them also
I only take Airtel Money Pay. It's easy and secure.
Yes, become a safer and more efficient cash-free business today. Easy.
No mixing your business money with your Kameza money. Now, that's efficient.
Airtel Money. Instant, secure, borderless.
Welcome back from that break. Now more in UBC News tonight. Banda Catholic Church in Mityana district has marked 16 years since it was established. Now the event was officiated by the Minister of Lands, Judith Nabakoba. Premier Robina Nabanja supported the church with 10 million Uganda shillings, which was delivered by Nabakoba. We have more details in this report.
It was a moment of joy, praise and worship at Banda Catholic Parish in Mityana district as the church marked 16 years since it was established. The parish celebrations were led by Reverend Father Peter Senyundo, the Dean of Canoni Dinare. The Minister for Lands, Housing and Urban Development, Judith Nabakoba, represented Prime Minister Robina Nabanja at the event.
Minister Abasinzo Kola, Prime Minister, now my Minister for Lands and Urban Development, Memuchasinzo Kola. Uganda yonna.
District ye Mityana yonna. Buli wotambula buli wotuuka wonna waliwo ekintu kye. Bw'otuuka mu ddwaliro wali emifaliso gya Kwanana Nabakoba.
Abeebazizza okuba abawulize eri gavumenti n'abeebaza okukola ennyo ate ne yeebaza n'abakulembeze okukola ennyo emirimu egy'enjawulo okulaba ng'obuweereza butuuka ku bantu baffe aba bulijjo.
Nabakoba invited religious leaders to persuade their followers to embrace government programs intended to drive poverty out of their home states.
And she has urged them to work very hard, embrace the government social development programs that are the number of programs that are put up by government of Uganda. It is their role to make sure that everyone gets involved, everyone is mobilized, especially now in the new, it's not a new program, but a program which is going on to help those below the poverty levels, which is the parish development model. The parish development model was set up in a way that those who are below the poverty level will be helped, all assisted by their government in their respective parishes. They are going to be mobilized according to the villages, and then they'll form a group, then with the various enterprises ready to do in their parishes. And the parish development committee will spearhead the activities of the parish. The target is those households that are below the poverty line. Each household will be given 1 million Ugandan shillings.
Judith Nabakoba handed over shillings 10 million from Prime Minister Robina Nabanja towards construction of St. Joseph Banda Church.
Ampereza milioni 10.
Mwongere ngaleza amanyi eyo church ewedde.
Era n'abagamba nti zasindise zibayambeko ku mulimu guno.
Twongeremu engaleza amanyi basirikale.
The church reaffirms its commitment towards preaching the gospel of peace, a unity and transformation amongst God's people. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Majority of members of parliament are welcoming the idea of making legal the concept contract farming between producers and buyers. This, they say, will help in addressing the setback of price fluctuations which farmers suffer at all levels. The contract farming bill, seeking to address the plight of commercial farmers, was introduced on Tuesday by Kimanya Kabonera constituency member of parliament Abed Bwanika.
Farmers have cried.
No support.
Agro producers have lamented.
We sell it as a grain.
And even ranchers have complained.
We used to work by ourselves.
They start with tilling, plowing and cultivation, ending with harvesting. but sometimes with probability. The high expectations that often come with high yields unfortunately end up with unfavorable prices. These are some of the challenges that the upcoming bill on contract farming is seeking to solve.
The motion being rooted by Dr. Abed, Honorable, is about contract farming.
As the process takes course, seconders of the motion insist on this new farming proposal as the way to go.
Contract farming has majorly been done with plantation crops like sugar, cane, and tea in Kakira, Kenyara, like that. But we want farmers to bring their land together in a block and they agree with the buyer. For example, maize.
It's like if I'm growing my rice, I'll be supplying at 10,000 per kilo, and even if by the time of harvest the price has gone down, still they'll follow the agreement, and therefore I think contract farming benefits our farmers.
Contract farming is an agricultural production carried out according to an agreement between a buyer and farmers. In the case of Uganda, the draft bill seeks to regulate block farming, where owners of different packages of land can consolidate for one production purpose.
You'll be assured of revenue, you'll be assured of incomes, and better incomes for that matter, so that your labor is not divided, but you bring your labor together and concentrate and produce according to the way the buyer wants it.
Since they have their small portions of land, they can come together and each one has still ownership on their land. And if they have ownership, they can agree to put their land together and grow their crops.
Where I come from, for example, we normally grow rice, soybean. After growing rice in large quantity, we do not find those ones to buy. Farmers are very ignorant about the market. And when we go into contract farming, where farmers are aware that when we grow rice in large quantity, the buyers are available.
However, other members of parliament have some reservations. Good as the program may sound, Bugasha County Member of Parliament Pius Wakabi has poked some holes.
At one time maize was at 300 shillings. Right now it is almost 2,000. So imagine if that farmer had contracted the buyer at 300, the farmer would have lost around 1,700. So it is only good that the farmer will be assured of the market. But when it comes to pricing of the farmer's product, in most cases the farmers lose out.
The proposed bill comes at a time government is in the initial stages of implementing the recently adopted and launched parish development model. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Vimba! Ni MTN Kabode Super as you pay mpola for this smartphone. Make calls, update your WhatsApp status, watch YouTube, and Google anything under the sun with 2 GB worth of data every month for 7 months. Simply make a small deposit of 99k and pay the balance mpola. You can pay in daily, weekly, or even monthly installments while you enjoy your new phone. So what are you doing today? Visit any MTN shop near you and get the MTN Kabode Super easy.
It's better to foster respect instead of fear and pain.
Cause a good school equals a better life.
Raising voices.
Enjoy more GBs for the same price on Airtel. Shareable using Turkana. We have increased GBs across all your favorite packs. Now, 4 GB is at 10,000 shillings and 10.5 GB at 22,500 shillings, all valid for a week. For the heavy data users, enjoy 24 GB at 50,000 shillings and 50 GB at 100,000 shillings, all valid for a month. Dial *175# or use the My Airtel app to buy these and more affordable weekly and monthly data bundles on Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Tales of Kasozi, brought to you by Uganda Communications Commission.
Yes, hello? This is Kasozi. How can I help you?
Calling you from the mobile service center.
Okay. So how can I help you?
Well, we have noticed a few things wrong with your number and need your mobile money PIN.
Ton Ferrer, never give out your password or PIN to any caller. Your mobile service provider will never call or ask for your personal details. If in doubt, go to your nearest phone service center.
This message is powered by UCC, MTN, Airtel, Bank of Uganda, and NPSP Association.
And now into the world of sports. Heathens were last evening crowned champions of the first ever Arua Rugby Sevens, the third round of the Nile Special Sevens, after beating Ginger Hippos 10-0 at Greenlight Stadium, the home of Onduparaka Football Club.
The Arua Sevens semi-final that was almost washed by torrential rain at the Greenlight Stadium in Arua. Heathens walloped Pirates 14, while Ginger Hippos thumped Arrogant Slogan Club Makerere Impis 17-5 to book the final with Heathens. Nile Special Connections manager John Posemakula with other dignitaries graced the final that was a repeat of Entebbe Sevens. Heathens settled the first half with 5-0 lead thanks to Joachim Kisano's try, while Malcolm Okelo shut Ginger Hippos with a second half late try to give Heathens a back-to-back circuit win.
It's been a great show for us, and we are willing to fight for other circuits that are coming around. Though they were looking at us as underdogs, but then we are ready to fight for anyone who comes across us. Heathens is a bigger team. We last won the circuit, the 7 circuits in I think 2013. But then these young boys have showed that they are willing and they are ready to play for the team and to put in the hard shift for the club. We are
12 teams, including 2 invasional teams in names of Nile Leopards, the hosts, and Gulu Falcons, took part in the one-day tournament. Heathens took 500,000 shillings and a trophy back home with 56 points top of the table. With 4 rounds to go, Black Pirates is second with 54 points, while Ginger Hippos is third with 51 points, and defending champion Scobs are 7th with 30 points. First ever Arua Sevens serves as the third round of the 2022 Nile Special Sevens.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of UBC News tonight. We've enjoyed your company. We want to thank you on behalf of our newsroom team, the reporters, and myself and Muhammad Mugalu. We wish you a blessed night and a wonderful week ahead of you. We'll leave you with Dafin Kabasita with our weather forecast for tomorrow. Good night.
From Uganda National Meteorological Authority. Sunny intervals are prevailed in most parts of the country in the morning hours, though in the afternoon most parts of the country had cloudy conditions, with some areas having showers. Looking at the satellite image over Africa, we see that the rain belt is over our country. That's why we are having cloudy conditions and some areas having sunny intervals. Tomorrow we're expecting to start the day with thunder showers. Areas around Lake Victoria, that is the central part of Uganda. Some few areas will have sunny intervals, for example, Mubende. Eastern part of the country we are expecting sunny intervals in Toro. Other areas we're expecting isolated showers. Western Uganda we're expecting sunny intervals. The northern part of the country we're expecting sunny intervals, apart from Arua where we're expecting isolated showers. In the afternoon we're expecting central part of the country temperatures rise to 29 and some few areas having 28, for example Kampala, with isolated thunder showers. Eastern part of the country we're expecting thunder showers with temperatures rising to 29, that is in Toro, 27 in Jinja. Western Uganda we're expecting thunder showers in most areas, temperatures rising to 26, that is in Masindi. Going to the northern sector, we're expecting 29 degrees Celsius, that is the northeastern part of the country, with isolated showers. Other areas we're expecting temperatures to rise to 28 degrees Celsius. Going beyond Uganda, we are expecting London to have sunny intervals, and also Nairobi, with temperatures rising to 24, that is in Nairobi. We're expecting sunny conditions with temperatures rising to 36 degrees in Cairo. That's what we had in our store. For more information about weather, don't hesitate to click on our website. Have a blessed evening.